I'm here to help. Look,
Yep.
mainstream media, if you need some questions that you think regular people have about the oil and gas sector that you want to ask to our government overlords, DM me right now. The DMs are open. I will
DMs
help
are
you.
open.
I want you to be better.
So in similar news, we also have the Premier of British Columbia, which is really in many instances, ground zero of
Yeah.
this drug crisis and the fentanyl crisis. David Eby. He earlier remarked on Premier's frank conversation with James Blair, the White House Deputy Chief of Staff. So we have a video here, and then I want to show you, share with our viewers a couple of tweets that are kind of funny in response
They're
to,
just trolling.
again, our mainstream media failures and spreading of misinformation.
Yeah, we had frank conversations where about the 51st state comment, where we underlined that was a non-starter. That was obviously consistent among all the premiers, and for my part, just underlining how important it was to share information and concerns related to fentanyl on the border with the premiers as well. There are enforcement actions that we can take to make sure that information is flowing. If these are the key points of frustration for the president, we want to take action on those things too.
Yeah, and then Colin DeMello, who is the president of the Queen's Park Press Gallery and also a correspondent, the Queen's Park Bureau Chief Correspondent with Global News. He took to X to post, he regurgitated Eby's remarks, saying he had this frank conversation. And he shared a few items with Trump, including willingness to engage, work on key areas of agreement, and that Canada would never be the 51st state. And then that was reposted by James Blair, who said, and maybe we can show this on screen for our viewers, pleasant meeting with the premiers. To be clear, we never agreed that Canada would not be the 51st state. We only agreed to share Premier Eby's comments. Further, we said the best way to understand President Trump's position is to take what he says at face value. I mean, I am pretty sure he substantially outratioed DeMello.
I love it.
Which is so funny to see because the mainstream media has been in absolute meltdown mode for the last few years, crying wolf about every time misinformation and how dare you make these claims. And this is, far right conspiracy theory stuff. And now we're seeing more and more how they are being caught in the misinformation spreading. And it's becoming more and more kind of blatant and in your face. And you have people from the US side who are not holding back, right? They're not afraid to call a spade and tell people how it really is. And I love to see that.
Yeah, I hope Canadian politicians are learning. By the way, thank you, Elon Musk. I can't believe your platform is free so that we can see the mainstream media in Canada being abused by their intellectual superiors in the federal government in the United States. But I hope our conservatives here in Canada are learning a little something. Treat the mainstream media like the enemies of you that they are, because they are. Their lifeblood is Justin Trudeau and the subsidies he continues to give them. We should consume their content with that in mind, and we should consider their questions to our politicians with that in mind as well.
Yeah, like, why did you choose the name Czar instead of how are you going to appoint more port officers to ports of entry that don't have any? Where they take their marching orders from, we can speculate.
Do you know what? I see stupid questions like that sometimes, and I think, wow, that's a failing of the entire newsroom over there. Because, like if we're sending journalists to a press conference and maybe they don't have, okay, let's say it's about oil and gas and pipelines. I will help you prep some questions. I know a little bit about that stuff. It's been my passion since I was a small child, the oil and gas industry. And so when I'm sending a journalist or we're sending journalists or they're saying, Sheila, I want to go to this press conference, but I don't know all of the details. We work together on questions. First of all, we help them understand the issue and what's important to the people that you're asking the questions on behalf of, right? Because we're not just asking our own hobby horse questions. We have to think about what you think as a Canadian who's not being well represented by the mainstream media. What matters to you? We want to ask those questions. And so we work together to develop questions and learn the issues and talk about what matters. I just think sometimes with these journalists, and maybe they're just fresh out of J school or whatever, but I think, do your editors, your editor-in-chief, your managing editor, do they not care about you? Do they not like you? Why did they sabotage you like this? I don't know.
Yeah, who came up with this question and why and how? Because my goodness, it is not relevant.
Ask for help, journalists. Ask somebody to help you.
And hey, always, you can feel free to reach out, I guess.
I'm here to help. Look, mainstream media, if you need some questions that you think regular people have about the oil and gas sector that you want to ask to our government overlords, DM me right now. The DMs are open. I will help you.
Open.
I want you to be better. You know, I do. I'm not keeping my expertise to myself. I want to help you too.
On behalf of all Canadians, DMs are open.
Oh, hi, it's Ezra Levant here in Toronto with an important message because we need your help. Independent journalism in Canada is under attack. Government censors, big tech deplatformers, and the dying legacy media are all working together to maintain exclusive control on the information you receive. They don't want you to hear other voices like ours, and they really don't want you to be informed and to think for yourself. That's why the work we do here at Rebel News is so important. Our on-the-ground reporting, independent news shows, and special content you won't find anywhere else. It's all designed to give you trustworthy information and alternative viewpoints so you can decide for yourself. We don't get government money, and we are not owned by some big global conglomerate. We're funded by people just like you, so please support independent journalism and help us continue our work by subscribing and becoming a Rebel News Plus member today, right here on the page. Go to rebelnewsplus.com.